Well, good morning, YouTube. Just a passing thought. As of late, I've had a few people suggest that I really don't have a clue what I'm talking about with a lot of stuff. Dang it. I'm trying to get this thing to hang the way I want it to hang, and it's just not cooperating. There we go. I've offered advice to several YouTubers, and they come off with the attitude that don't confuse them with the facts, their mind's made up. I don't have videos on the subject, so what do I know about it? So on. Well, in every single one of these cases, there are very young people who haven't had even a quarter of the life experience I do. So just for the sheer fact that I'm that much older than they are would suggest I've had some exposure to it, bare minimum. Then, in every single one of these cases, because I don't have up videos on the subjects that I was offering what I know on the topic, and mind you, I never claimed I was an expert in any of the topics. Well-practiced, well-experienced, sure. But I pointed them at folks who have videos up that the videos actually prove what I was saying. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to understand something. You don't have to have posted 500 videos on a given topic to actually know what you're talking about. Granted, it does prove you know what you're talking about. I agree. But when somebody tells you something and says, now, I don't have up videos on this subject, but here's a guy who's got up 500 videos on the topic, and everything he does and says proves what I'm telling you, pay attention. That's somebody who's trying to tell you something, is trying to help you out. Now, I understand. I don't always have the best way of saying things. Mea culpa, I have dyslexia very severely. So sometimes I don't always pick the best phrase or terminology. I try real hard. But when I tell you something, I'm trying to help you make yourself better. And there are a bunch of us out there who are trying to do the same thing. Okay? It's not we're trying to make you think we think you're stupid. Getting it wrong, maybe. Not getting it right, not getting the best way of doing something, probably. And we're trying to help you learn to do it a better way, a more efficient way. But like I said, there are a bunch of us out here who really do know what we're talking about. So now I'm going to give you a quick primer, and no, I don't have any video to prove it. But you can look it up on the internet and find out I'm telling you the truth. Something you may not be aware about with dyslexia. When somebody has dyslexia, they have lousy spelling. Their handwriting is usually very atrocious. And they sometimes have trouble putting things into words. The flip side of that coin is they generally have genius IQs. Case in point, Einstein was a dyslexic. Look it up. It's public record. Go to any of the dyslexia websites, and there's probably 1 million of them on the internet, and read for yourself. I forget the exact numbers, but 70 to 80% of dyslexics have IQs anywhere from 10 to 30% higher than the average Joe. And a small portion of dyslexics have IQs of double the average. I forget the exact numbers, mind you, but it's there to be found if you really want to know. So, yeah. Like I said, when it comes to me, when I make a comment, if my dyslexia is flaring, I might not get the exact phraseology polite. but then I do tell you on my About page. I don't do polite, and I don't do politically correct. I call it the way I see it. And you know what? If you look past any perceived notion of slight and realize I'm dyslexic, and just take the information offered as information offered, and feel free to check up on it. You know, like they used to say in the U.S. government a few years ago, trust but confirm. I don't take any offense at that notion. If I tell you something, trust that 99% of the time I have a pretty good idea. I mean, most of the time I'll tell you. If I only think this is correct, I tell you, I think this is the way it is. If I tell you that I'm pretty sure you can take it to the bank that it's within 0.1% right on the money. Now, I have been known to be called a know-it-all. I've been known times when people just don't want to be around me because I'm just that smarter than they are. That's my cross to bear. I try to keep myself toned down on it. Doesn't always work. So anybody who has felt offended that I've offered advice and didn't seem to be as friendly as it could be, mea culpa. I'm only human, and I have dyslexia. And that's a problem for me that I have fought with for decades. I still haven't learned to control it completely. Though I'm a lot better at it than I was 30 and 40 years ago. So understand, I'm not apologizing for being right. Only for anybody who had a perceived notion that I was slighting them. Because that was not how I mean anything I've said, unless it's somebody who has decided to troll on my channel. And there are a few of those who I've come right out and told them just what they are. Not even worth the shit on the bottom of my shoe. But as far as me making comments, as a general rule, I don't hide meanings. I say it the way I see it. Well, that's all I got for the moment. Take into consideration what I've had to say. Do a little research if you want. Check up on what I've told you here. I think you'll find I'm right.